We begin tonight at 6 with new details about the final months in the life of Colts owner Jim Irsay.
Today we read through a 15-page exclusive report by the Washington Post. Our Samantha Johnson combed through the new details today and joins us now in studio with what she learned.
I talked to one of the reporters who worked on this article. He says this really all started with Irsay's death certificate, and he says some people believe a California doctor may have contributed to his death. All of this coming from 5 anonymous people who say they were close to Jim Irsay, who spoke to that Washington Post reporter. Take a look. The face of football in Indianapolis, Jim Irsay, died in May at the Beverly Hills Hotel. His death ruled cardiac arrest caused by pneumonia.
There was no autopsy or toxicology workup, which we found unusual and odd given Mr. Irsay's substance abuse history.
Will Hobson is one of 3 Washington Post reporters looking into Irsay's death. Irsay often talked publicly about his battles with substance use, and Hobson now tells me he talked to 5 people close to Irsay who confirmed he had relapsed.
And that in addition to opioid pills, he'd been getting ketamine.
According to the Post, sources say the drugs came from a prominent addiction specialist in California.
They believed that among the doctors Mr. Irsay consulted, Dr. Haratunian would give him the more dangerous opioid pills that fueled his addiction.
In fact, the Post cites 3 overdoses in the last 5 years of Irsay's life.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
One in 2020, another in December 2023 at his home in Carmel.
He's breathing, but he's bluish in color.
And another in Florida just 12 days later, according to the Post.
People we spoke with say he really was never the same again.
The Colts told 13 News at the time Irsay was being treated for a severe respiratory illness.
The Colts misled the public about what was going on with Mr. Irsay over the last 2 years of his life, and the manner in which the team handled his death allows for the possibility that it wasn't sufficiently investigated.
What questions still remain? What's still unanswered in all of this?
If Mr. Irsay truly died of cardiac arrest caused by pneumonia, as the death certificate indicates, and if the treatment he received from this doctor over the last 2 years of his life played a role.
The Colts giving 13 News a statement Thursday, reading in part, quote, "Our focus remains on honoring our dad's legacy, his decades of philanthropy, his loyalty to the Colts and its fans, and his passion for mental health advocacy, music, and second chances."
The people who are telling us about his relapse, they all loved him too, and they believe this doctor played a role in his death.
Jim Irsay was 65 years old. Now, I did talk to Beverly Hills Police about 45 minutes ago. They tell me their investigation into Irsay's death is closed. They say there are no open investigations into that death nor into the treatment he received before his death. I also did call that doctor's office today. I did not hear back.
And later tonight, you'll put the entire interview with this Washington Post reporter on our website, right?
Yeah, we had a good conversation, 15, 20 minutes just about this article and about his findings, and we'll have that for you later this evening on WTHR Plus and on our website.
All right, Sam, thanks so much.
This is interesting. In just the next week that the Indianapolis Colts plan to be honoring Jim with the Ring of Honor at the game on September 7th. His dad was the inaugural member of that group, and so their tributes to him continue.
Yeah, a lot of people thinking about them.
Yes, Samantha, thank you.
Well, Jim Irsay had certainly been open for years about his battles with addiction. He wanted to help other people going through similar issues.
He helped start the Colts mental health campaign that's called Kicking the Stigma. This is aimed at providing resources for people who are dealing with troubles with their mental health. Since its founding in 2020, Kicking the Stigma has committed more than $30 million to mental health groups, awareness efforts, and also research, giving out more than $7 million in grants to mental health nonprofits. Now, addiction is something that tens of million people live with every single day.
Sometimes, no matter how many resources someone has, it is not enough. Our Jenna Webster joins us in studio tonight at 6 with the challenges of treating addiction. Jenna?
Yeah, well, it definitely is a big challenge for millions of people around the world. I was talking to a Plainfield man earlier today who will mark 26 years sober next month, but says it's still a challenge he battles every day. That same mindset is what Meridian Health has. Since October last year, it says it's treated 3,300 people across our state for substance abuse disorder. They use 3 different medications to help treat people battling addiction, but also say therapy and support groups are very important in that journey. Now, Jim Reiser's addiction battle led to a career in addiction counseling, and now he has some strong opinions on treating it.
I'm really very supportive about using these medications to buy time for people, but to leave somebody on a drug that has horrific withdrawal for life, to me, sets them up for a future failure.
Reiser says ketamine, the drug a doctor was allegedly giving Jim Irsay, must be monitored. And really, he believes it shouldn't be used outside of its FDA approval for general anesthetic. Now, Meridian Health says it does not use ketamine in its treatment because it can't be monitored in its outpatient clinic setting there at the health center.
All right, Jenna Webster, thanks so much for that angle. Jim Irsay was so generous to the Indianapolis community for decades after taking over ownership of the Colts in 1997 following the death of his father, Robert Irsay.
You can find much more on Mr. Irsay's life and his impact. Those stories are all available right now, streaming on demand on WTHR+. Angela, beautiful night tonight.
Yes, after a rainy start for some, live Doppler 13 radar is pretty quiet. Just a couple of spotty showers we'll keep an eye on, mainly north, and those are along the front itself. We've rebounded to 78 degrees after spending a good part of the day damp and cloudy from Indianapolis north and east. If you're coming downtown for baseball, headed to the concert out at Ruoff, temperatures will be in the 70s under a mainly cloudy sky. Still a slight chance we get a pop-up this evening, but that's a low chance. Sunny and mild for Friday, 77.
Happening now, in fact, just underway tonight, a preview VIP event for the Butter Fine Art Fair.
This event displays the work of Black artists, and those artists will take home all the proceeds.
Rich Nye joins us live from the Stutz building where they're throwing a big party downtown. And Rich, impressive works of art on sale this weekend.
The party is hopping tonight. The whole idea of this event is to expose and celebrate and to sell the art of some Black artists, many of them from right here in Indianapolis. Over here is Will Watson. He's a Lawrence North High School graduate. How you doing tonight, Will? Good, man. How are you? This is his piece right here. He calls it the greatest basketball team to ever existed. He's hoping to get $10,000 for this weekend. Butter, as in slang for cool, smooth, meant to be spread around. The Butter Fine Art Fair celebrates year 5 of showing off the creation of Black artists.
Artists needed an elevated platform for their fine art. Sometimes when you think of fine art, you may not think of the Black artists that are here in the city. And so to give them a platform to bring collectors from all over the world in order for them to show their work, it's so necessary and needed.
Paintings, sculptures, and other artwork from local artists and some artists from across the country and around the world. Butter organizers say that only 11% of the artwork displayed in galleries is by artists of color. Butter gives Black artists a space for their work to be featured.
We want to show that we do fine art, that we are contributing to the community with our artwork.
Artists pay no fee to display their art at Butter and no commission on sales.
Having a platform to really be an artist, to be able to have your work represented and being able to offer it for quality dollars, and for the model that Butter's created, 100% of what the artist sells goes in their pocket.
The Butler stick art is created this year again by Marvin Rouse, who grew up in Indy but now has his own gallery in Naples, Florida. The works of 50 artists are on display this year. Butter is expecting up to 15,000 guests.
We can explain Butter, we can tell you what it is, but it's a feeling. You have to come experience it, and Butter's always better with friends.
Tickets are $50 for Butter, and kids under 18-year-old get in free. This piece right here is called See No Evil. You just saw Marcus Robbins. He's a Pike High School graduate, and he's hoping that maybe he can get $7,850 for this piece this weekend. Starts tomorrow, open to the public for 3 days. Again, those $50 passes are good. You can use them all weekend.
And we saw some video of Tyrese Halliburton there tonight, so the Pacers guard it there as well at Butter.
Got a few celebrities in the crowd tonight.
Yeah, any buying going on?
I haven't seen any money exchanged yet, but there is a place up here where, you give them your credit card information. I don't think we're carrying around that kind of cash tonight. At least I'm not.
Yeah. All right. It's a great aesthetic there, a wonderful event. Thanks so much for showing us some of the highlights there. Rich reporting live at the Stutz Building downtown. If you want to buy tickets, go to our website at WTHR.com.
Still ahead, plans to install new power lines in a McCordsville neighborhood now causing some concerns for neighbors.
Why one woman's health is now at the center of the discussion.
Plus, a former IMPD officer found not guilty of rape. Tonight, why he is set to be back in court again next month. That story's next.